Is it digital gold? Let's get the analysis now. We've got the Celsius Network founder with us. Alex Mashinsky is going to be joining. And Alex, your perspective, please, on how risky it is at the moment. You're a company that lends, of course, and people are currently giving you crypto, lending it out. Are people leveraged in this space right now? Is it a worry?
Well, there's always leverage in every system. Thanks for having me back, by the way. I think the risk-reward meter is still kind of saying that there's going to be major returns here. Bitcoin is still the best performing asset across all categories for the last 10 years, every year in a row. So the risk reward is great, but there's definitely a lot of, basically we're already up over 100% this year. So you should definitely take your time and find opportunities to diversify and buy into the asset over time, and not just try to catch or pretend like you would know what is the right time to get the lowest price.
You know, I'm always curious, and it's a question I always ask different people, different parts of the ecosystem. Who is the marginal buyer here? It still doesn't feel like the retail frenzy of 2020 is the same as it was in 2017. Where do you see the initial dollars come? Where do you see the new dollars coming in recent months?
You're right. I mean, if you do a Google Trends search on Bitcoin, you will see that we don't have the pop that we had in 2017. But that's because everybody already knows what Bitcoin is, or at least most people do. So now that there are so many more on-ramps to come to Bitcoin, now you can use PayPal, you can use Cash App, you can use Line Corp, which is one of our partners with 680 million users. So all of that is representing much easier way to find Bitcoin, and institutions are and family offices are also joining and basically diversifying into this asset class, because more and more people are worried about the printing from the Fed and the government.
I am curious, Alex. I mean, one of the reasons why there had been some trepidation among some investors of embracing Bitcoin or crypto in general, or even just giving it the time of day, was this idea that it was hard to sort of model. You couldn't really sort of create sort of a spreadsheet and say, here are the reasons X, Y, Z of why crypto would rise or fall over the next 12 months or so. What is sort of the model? I mean, what do you sort of put into those spreadsheets at this stage that would give you or give some investors who need that a little more clarity as to the direction of crypto?
Yeah, so look, I agree with you that it's hard to model. And the piece that I'm really don't have answers for is really how many people are going to sell it at 22,000 or 25,000 or 30,000. So the fact that we doubled from 11,000 or 10,000 to 20, and we had almost no sellers, doesn't mean that you don't have a massive amount of sellers and the next $10,000 to join. So look, yes, Bitcoin is an experiment. It's 11 years old. But the US dollar, the fiat version of it, since we went off the gold standard, is also an experiment. So can you model the US dollar with the Fed printing 20% of all the dollars that were ever created this year? So the point is really, are you betting on scarcity or are you betting on fiat? And I think more and more of the smartest investors in the world are betting on scarcity.
Many betting on technical analysis rather than fundamental. Alex, you talk very much about only Bitcoin. What about some of the other altcoins out there? And, you know, Ethereum's been an experiment that's been going on for a while too.
Yeah, so look, Bitcoin is the granddaddy of all of this. When there are many others, there's over 9,000 other digital assets, like Celsius Network has a Cell token, that's one of them. And really each one of them is an experiment, trying to create the future of finance, right? So we focus on yield, on generating yield. We pay 10 times more than your average bank. Others like Bitcoin are focused on store of value. Ethereum is the kind of the rails. Celsius is using Ethereum as its underlying blockchain. And for the people who are just getting started, for the people watching the show and don't know anything about it, just bet on Bitcoin, right? Just take 5 or 10% of your assets.
10%.
And diversify it into that.
That's a lot of money, but well, that's a lot. That's a lot for people. But appreciate the advice, Alex Mashinsky,
think of it,
Celsius Network.
Think of it as Think of it as doomsday insurance, right? So how much insurance do you need to buy? That's what you need to consider.
Interesting perspective. Alex Mashinsky, Celsius Network founder. Now, coming up, sticking with crypto and payments, our next guest says the space has come of age in 2020 with use by consumers and businesses gaining traction.